So hello to everybody. It's been a minute. In fact, it's been several minutes, several days, several weeks, several months. And clearly I've forgotten how to do this. Hello Creative Tartanites, and welcome to my creative podcast. For those of you who are new, my name is Tanya and I'm coming to you from Fife in Scotland. I am an eclectic creator and I just love everything creative. I paint, mostly portraits, I sew, I knit, I crochet, just whatever takes my fancy. For those of you who are subscribers and know me, welcome back. It's been a while since I have recorded anything. And truth be known, I do actually have some footage that I never ever got round to editing. And the reason for that is because I started getting migraines. They were really debilitating. I still get them, I just haven't had one for a little while, and I'm hoping that that's because I've figured out what's been causing them. I've never had migraines in my life, and around about 6 or 7 months ago, in fact it's maybe even about 8 months ago now, it's been a while, I started to get them, and then I noticed that I was actually getting them more and more often, more frequently, when I was spending more time in the house. So when I've been on annual leave, for example, from my work, I seem to be getting them more often then. And I started to think, well, what was I doing more when I was in the house? And some of that is working more on computer stuff and perhaps having a little bit too much television on whilst I was knitting. So I've kind of changed that, and I've stopped watching as much. Well, it was always on in the background. I didn't watch it per se, but it was certainly on, and so I've changed that to listening to audiobooks. So I've been getting through quite a few books, which is great, because I've actually wanted to read a bit more, and whilst it's not technically reading, it is delving into the land of stories. For those who don't know me, I particularly like sci-fi, fantasy, that kind of thing. So those things like Lord of the Rings and things about magic and all that kind of stuff. So that's my kind of likes in terms of books. And I've been reading a lot more. I have done quite a lot of knitting. I've done a lot of knitting of socks, but unfortunately I don't have the socks to show you because I've knitted them and given them to the person that I knitted them for. So the only socks that I've got are work in progress at the moment, that I'm finally getting round to doing for myself. So why don't we just jump right in and I'll start to show you, because I don't have anything that is complete. I really don't. In fact, I do have complete works. I'm going to start with my knitting first. Then I will go on to the sewing stuff, because I've actually been doing a lot of sewing, more than I've been doing knitting. But I'll start with the knitting first, so at least there's some kind of cohesive order. Sorry, rambling. Let's get on. So, in terms of knitting, here is one finished sock. Now this is West Yorkshire Spinners. It is their, I want to say signature, but that might not be right. And I think it is the rum colourway. Self-striping rainbow socks. I mean, aren't these not just absolutely amazing? Oops. And I'm almost finished the second sock. Does anybody else do this? They get to the Kitchener stitch and then they kind of procrastinate, because I certainly do. I kind of procrastinate until I get to a point where I'm actually in the mood to do it. Doing the Kitchener stitch, I have to remember how to do it, and so I need a little bit of be in the mood for it. So I kind of procrastinate. But there's the second sock. It's exactly the same as this sock, and it's for me. Yay! And I was watching another podcast, and they mentioned this, and some podcasters do call it selfish knitting. And I am with the podcaster that I was watching. I can't even remember who it was I was watching, but I don't like the phrase selfish knitting, because it's not selfish to look after yourself. It so is not selfish. We have to look after ourselves, because if we don't look after ourselves, who else is going to? And so, yeah, just because we've got gift knitting doesn't mean that when we knit something for ourselves that it's selfish knitting. It just means that we're gifting ourselves, because at the end of the day we do actually have to care about ourselves, and we do have to like and love ourselves. And one of the ways to do that is to have lovely socks, lovely items, things that we appreciate. So yeah, let's start a revolution. Let's boycott the phrase selfish knitting, because there is no such thing. Rant over, get off my soapbox, let's move on. This is a jumper that I have been knitting for my son. It got to the point where, and the reason it's not finished, it got to the point where, oops, sorry, a bit noisy there. It got to the point where it was starting to get into the summer, and my son had said, well, I'm not going to be wearing it till next winter anyway, so he gave me permission to not finish it then, and I put it down because it was getting difficult to knit without getting sweaty hands. And so over the summer, because we've had a reasonably warm summer, in fact we had heat waves even up in Scotland. We had a heat wave, so it wasn't particularly nice to knit in. I struggled even to sew, but I did do a little bit more sewing than I did knitting. So as you can see, I've got the body, and I am in the process of knitting this. So I'm just about to cast off the cuff, but my son then said, oh, I think I've actually changed sizes, so maybe you shouldn't finish it, and maybe I should try it on first. So I'm leaving it for the time being until he tries it on. I suspect that he's probably not put that much weight on, but we'll try it. I don't think it's going to make a difference. I think this is still going to fit him. There's quite a good bit of stretch in it. So yeah, we'll see. We will see. So I'm not going to work on that until that's been resolved. So that's that. In terms of what I want to knit, and what I'm going to be knitting, there are two things that I'm going to be knitting in the near future. Oh, it's been so long since I have recorded anything, I've forgotten to tell you the pattern for this particular jumper. And I think I'm going to have to put it up on the screen because I can't remember what it's called. I think it's Whiskey or something like that. So I'll put the details of the pattern and who it's by. So back to the two projects that are going to be getting started in the next little while. And I'm excited to say that this is going to be the first year that I am going to be joining in with the Stephen West's Mystery Knit Along shawl. And I have got my wool. Let's get this out. Drops had a sale on. I love drop sales. So I have brought the Drops Alpaca. They are 50-gram balls, and unfortunately, as you may know, on Drops it only gives you the number of the colour. It doesn't actually tell you what the colour is. So this one is colour 0618. This one is 0607. So that's the light and the dark for the contrasting colours. And for the pop of colour, I have gone for the Drops Alpaca in the colour 2915. So nice, very autumnal colours. I've never done Stephen West knits before. In fact, I haven't really done an awful lot of the different knit stitches either, really, to be fair. So this is going to be a learning curve, and I'm so excited. I'm going to try and get this video up today, the day I'm actually filming it. It's Wednesday, because the test knit, not the test knit, the the mystery knit along starts tomorrow. So I may or may not have started it, depending on when I manage to get this edited and up onto my channel. So excited about starting that. Don't you just love those colours? I do. I do. Anyway, moving swiftly on. In the same kind of brown theme. After watching Kat's podcast, Heather and Hops, I have been enabled to purchase this book. It is called Knits About Winter, and it's by Emily Fodden, and I have to say there is not a pattern in here that I wouldn't want to try. And the first pattern that I'm going to do is actually the jacket that is on the cover. It's called the East Wind Jacket. Let me get a better photo of it for you. Trying to get a better photo without showing the pattern. So that's the jacket that I'm going to knit. A bit more of a close-up. So I'm really excited to get started on this. Because it's a book, there does seem to be a little bit more of toing and froing and backwards and forwards from one page. There's a lot of kind of flipping of pages, but I might resolve that by just writing out what I'm needing to do. But we'll see. We'll see. Because I might be able, it might be easy enough to learn and I won't need to keep checking. But anyway, that's what I'm going to do. So the wool I'm going to be knitting it in is the West Yorkshire Spinners Fleece Jacob double knit, and it's to be held double with mohair. Now I've never knitted with mohair before, so this is going to be a new experience, and I do hope that I don't have too many mistakes, because my understanding is that it can be a bit of a pain to rip back. So I've already caked up the dark brown. That's going to be the main colour, and this is what I'm going to be holding it with. This is Drops Kid Silk, and let's see if I can get the colourway. Right, so dye locked, I know the colour is 05. It's like a heather, it's like a purpley, a nice purple colour. and I figured that together with the brown it's going to give a little bit of a purple haze to the brown. I don't know if it's going to work out, but time will tell, we'll soon see. And this is going to be the edging. I've only got the one skein of that because that's all I needed, and that is for the edge around about the collar and the edge around about the bottom of the jacket, and also the inside of the pocket, I believe, and the edge on the pocket, because the jacket actually has pockets. So this I'm excited to try, because this is going to be my first holding wool double. I've always avoided holding wool double from a cost perspective, if I'm totally honest, but I think this is going to be worth it. This jacket is, I've seen a couple of people knitting it, and it's a lovely jacket, so I think it will be worth it. So I think that's all my knitting. Oh, sorry. I think that's all my knitting. So the only other yarny thing that I've got to tell you is I'm crocheting a granny square cardigan. So I'll just show you the progress that I've made so far. Now, I can't tell you what wool I'm using. This wool was given to me by my mum, and the ball bands weren't on the balls. So yeah, but lovely colours. So rather than faff about with one colour for one round and then another colour for another round, what I've done is I've just simply done different squares are different colours, so they're patchworked. No two colours are next to each other, I hope, and I've done the 2 rows of the colour and then the edging, and I have joined as I've gone, but where I've got seams to be able to give the cardigan that structure, I have actually crocheted them together. So it's just a single crochet together to make the seams, and you can see here on the shoulder seam, so that's this bit here, I've crocheted that as well, whereas when I've joined the actual squares, it's just been joined as I've gone. So I'm hoping that that will give the cardigan a little bit of structure. I have watched one video on how to construct a cardigan, but I'm doing mine slightly different to the video that I've watched. One, I'm not as young or slim as the person in the video, and 2, I've not made my squares as big as hers. Mine's are slightly smaller, so I think her squares, there's an extra round on, but I've gone with the smaller squares. And let's just pop this over my shoulders to let you see. This is where I am at. Now, I've still got a half, it's not obviously not sitting correctly because it's not together, so this is going to come together under here, but I'm going to add a square on the diagonal to attach this bit to the actual sleeve part, and I've got the start of the sleeve, and I'm doing it this way so I can actually see as I go what I'm actually needing. Okay, and there's going to be a half. There's going to be a half square here, and then I'm going to obviously do the edging, and that it's sitting too close together, but I think once it's actually attached here, it's not going to be as close, and so I will have the overlap to then be able to either, I might put buttons on, I may just leave it as is, I don't know, but yeah, so we'll see how it goes, because it may not work out, but that's fine, but that's where I'm at so far. So I'm pleased with how it's starting to turn out. I do really like those pastel-y colours. I've got like a kind of light lilac, so that's kind of like a light lilac there. I've got the pink, I've got the darker pink, so it's more of a kind of dusky darker pink. I've got a turquoise there, and I've got, yeah, I think that's all. Oh no, I've got the mint green here. So yeah, I'm really pleased with how this is turning out. I suspect that the yarn is acrylic, because that's the kind of wool that my mum would always buy, because she liked the fact that you could just put it in the washing machine to wash. So it's not the most eco-friendly, but the fact that I'm giving it a lease of life instead of it getting thrown away, I think that's kind of eco enough, because we can't unmake the acrylic wool that's in the world, can we? So I'm using it, and that is that for all the yarny goodness. So as I was saying, it's been a while, so I've got quite a lot of finished sewing, well, no, I've got quite a lot of sewing projects that I'd like to share with you. Start off with the finished, shall I? So if I go to the finished and then the works in progress for each subject, that would probably be a good plan. So finished object is now I want to say saguaro, but it's not. It's not how it's pronounced. It's just how I've heard it being pronounced. My understanding is it's not pronounced like that at all, and I'm not actually sure how it's pronounced. But this is a pattern by the Friday Pattern Company, and it was my very first garment sewing project for me that I've done that isn't a costume. So I've done like sewing costumes, you know, for Halloween and things. I've sewn, so you know, I guess my mindset was very much that sewing a costume, it doesn't matter if it isn't completely right, it doesn't matter if, you know, if my stitches are wonky, or you know, things aren't quite as you know, there's no quality in terms of the, you know, it's beginner stitches, and so this is my first garment that is going to be worn out in public that's not a costume, and I absolutely love it. The fabric I got from my local store in Kirkcaldy, called Rejects, and they do a fabulous selection of fabrics for both quilting and for dressmaking. They even have a section where you can buy like upholstery fabric as well, or at least they used to. I think they still do. So yeah, this is it. This is a top and trousers. Let me get it off the hanger. So the trousers have got a really wide elastic waist. They also have pockets and they have a wide leg. And I'm going to pop another bit of footage in that has me wearing it, just to let you see. But this has been a very popular pattern. It's been all over Instagram. I absolutely love it. Now, I'm not young. I've got grey hair, and there is a little part of my midriff shows with this. But do you know, it's not that bad. It's only a tiny sliver, and yeah, I'm actually really pleased that I can still wear something like this. Really makes me feel young. The top is what I believe it's called grown on sleeves. So there was no setting in of sleeves. They're short sleeved. The top is crossovered, and there is a little tie at the front. And it's quite a plunge neck as well. And again, I'm not young, but it's actually not that bad on me. In fact, it's quite flattering, to be fair. So that is my finished garment. My very first one, and I'm very pleased with how it looks. So I'll pop that to the side. The second item is a Tilly in the Buttons pattern. And that is, I think it's the Indigo. Yeah, the Indigo Dress. Again, you're not going to be able to see this properly as is. There is pockets, but I'll pop in a little bit of footage of me actually wearing the dress. You would think that this is complete, but it's not complete, because you can see I've not actually finished the hemming on the sleeves, and I've still to actually hem the bottom part of the dress. You can see my zigzag stitches there to stop it from fraying, and I've just not got round to hemming it yet, because I got distracted with other projects. So that's my dress. Really pleased. I've again used fabric from my local store, and this is actually quilting cotton. I just love the pattern on it, and I love the colours, so I went with that. So there we go. That is that. The other sewing project that I did, again, I don't have it here, but I do have a little picture of it, and that is a ragdoll, and I will pop a picture in and let you see it. This ragdoll is a free pattern, and it is from the YouTube channel Pay It Forward. I'll leave links for everything in the description below, so if you're interested in making one of these, please go and check her channel out. She is amazing with her free patterns and video tutorials on her channel. I'm totally blown away by the amount of different sewing projects that she has got. There's teddies, ragdolls, pincushions. There are just a whole plethora of different ideas to get, and fantastic patterns. She does master classes via her Patreon, so if you're looking to advance your skills, she does a little bit more advanced stuff for her Patreons. So yeah, I would totally go and check her out. Her patterns are amazing. The other ragdoll that it looks finished, but it's not finished, unfortunately, because I still haven't finished putting on her hair. And that is this ragdoll. Again, I will put the details of this the pattern for this because I bought it off of yep, the name's gone. I really should have probably thought about this before I started filming and wrote all the things down that I needed to talk about. I will do that next time. I'll make sure that I'm not hemming and hawing about what it is that I'm showing you. But I will put on the screen the name. Yeah, it's gone. It's gone. I thought I had it there. I bought two patterns. In fact, I've actually shown you the patterns beforehand. Have I shown you the doll before? If I have, I apologise. Again, I maybe should have checked that first actually. But yeah, so I love this material for the dress. This is a beautiful material that I bought from Minerva a long time ago. I mean, we're talking like, ooh, at least 12 years ago I bought this fabric. And it's absolutely lovely. It's a little collared dress. It is removable. I'm not going to remove it though, because then poor doll will be naked. What can I tell you? I used calico for the body and the face. I've got safety eyes in, and I used this amazing wool for her hair. Now, as you can see, I haven't finished going all the way down. I'm going to be going all the way down here, and I haven't put her mouth on either. I haven't decided what kind of mouth I want to put on her, but yeah, the mouth's missing, but I don't think it detracts. I might just not bother putting a mouth on, but we'll see. We'll see. And the other thing that I've done is I made my loops a little bit too long, so I haven't actually put the buttons on yet, because I'm wondering if I should maybe just take the loops off and fix them, or put the buttons further over the back. We'll see, because the doll is not going to anybody. The doll is mine. I'm keeping the doll. I keep calling her the doll because I haven't actually named her yet. Maybe you'd like to make some suggestions in the comments below. That would be fun. So that's the doll. Bye everybody. I've got two more sewing projects to show you. Sorry if this video is going on for a very long time. So this is a skirt that I have started to make for my granddaughter. As you can see, it is a pleated skirt. It's not a box pleat, it's the one that just goes to the one side. So yeah, I'm really pleased with how it's looking so far. My plan, this is, I want to say self-drafted, but I didn't really draft it as such. I just cut out rectangles of the material, put in the pleats, and as you can see on the back here, you can see where I have added another rectangle of fabric, and I just kept doing that until I got to my desired length to be able to fit my granddaughter. And then I am going to do another rectangle of fabric to add to the top, so it's going to be, so this is going to be on the hips, and then there's going to be another bit of fabric attached to here up to the waist, and the waist is going to be elasticated waist because that's what she asked for. So that is what I'm in the process of making. I mean, how delicious is that fabric? I love this fabric, it's really cool. My granddaughter picked it. I took her to the fabric store locally, the fabric shop, and let her pick the fabric that she wanted. And yeah, we ended up buying two different fabrics. So she's cheekily got another item out of me. It's not just the skirt. But then, in all fairness, it was the other item that we went in for in the first place. She wanted the dungarees, so we went to pick fabric for the dungarees, and yeah, she ended up liking 2 different fabrics, so I bought her the 2 different fabrics, and she wanted a pleated skirt, so I ended up starting the pleated skirt first rather than the dungarees. So I'll get around to the dungarees once I have done the skirt, because I figured the skirt would be a little bit more simple and quicker to get finished, but yeah, that's the plan. And lastly, but certainly not least, I have got back into quilting. So I've been piecing a quilt together. Now this pattern is a free pattern from Pat Sloan. So I think her channel is called Quilt Along with Pat Sloan. If you put in Pat Sloan, you'll be able to find her. And this is the Oh My Stars. It's really difficult to get the whole quilt in. So I'll put another bit of footage in like now to show the length of the quilt. It's just the inner part, and I still have the edging to do, and I've still to decide whether or not I want to do the actual quilting of the middle part, and then do quilt as you go for the edge, so adding the quilt and the batting on the edge together to make it easier to get through my domestic sewing machine. And speaking of domestic sewing machines, I have gone and bought myself a Pfaff sewing machine. It is the Pfaff Ambition 630. It's the quilt version. And it's arriving today, so I'm really excited. I can't wait for it to come. I got a text message this morning to tell me when the courier is going to be delivering it, and it's going to be today between 3 and 4. So I figured that I would do this recording because it'll keep me from like getting too excited, not you know, waiting on the parcel to arrive. So yeah, the next video hopefully will be the unboxing of my new sewing machine. So I was going to do a little bit of a catch up, but I've just noticed that this video is already an hour long, so I think perhaps the little bit of the catch up might be better to leave until the next video. If you have any questions, then please leave them down below. I'm more than happy to answer any questions that you have. It might be fun actually to do another Q&A video, but that will be dependent on whether or not I get enough questions to answer. But what I would like to say is a huge thank you to everyone who has continued to support me even when I have had long periods of time in between videos. It's not easy to be consistent. I have had a dry spell in terms of my painting. I haven't been painting for a while, and so I haven't had any painting videos put up for a while. So yeah, thank you everybody for sticking around, particularly as I've kind of transitioned from painting to a bit more of eclectic creator. So thank you. If you like this video, please give me the thumbs up. It really does help for people to see the videos that I'm creating. And if you haven't already done so, please subscribe and don't forget to hit that bell. That way you get notifications of when my next video is available for you. So that just leaves me to say thank you for watching, and don't forget, look after your mental well-being because nobody else can. Bye for now.